President Obama tells businessmen that they are not responsible for their own success. I'm Allen Barton. Stand by for Front Page. Joining me in studio, Yaron Brook, president of the Ayn Rand Center for Individual Rights, and Terry Jones, associate editor for Investors Business Daily. This was big news this week. Let's take a look at what President Obama had to say regarding success in America.
If you've been successful, you didn't get there on your own. You didn't get there on your own. I'm always struck by people who think, well, it must be because I was just so smart. There are a lot of smart people out there. It must be because I worked harder than everybody else. Let me tell you something. There are a whole bunch of hard-working people out there. If you were successful, somebody along the line gave you some help. There was a great teacher somewhere in your life. Somebody helped to create this unbelievable American system that we had that allowed you to thrive. Somebody invested in roads and bridges. If you got a business, you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
And as a small business owner, I say to you, Mr. President, F you. I think I can say that on the internet. F you. I didn't build that. This is one of the most staggering things I think I've ever heard come out of any politician's mouth, much less the President of the United States, and even this guy who has said some amazing things in the last 3 years. Yaron, you want to lead off on this one?
Sure. Look, this is the whole philosophy of collectivism that dominates the Democratic Party and unfortunately much of the Republican Party. But it dominates them. And this goes back to Hillary Clinton, right? Remember, it takes a village. This is exactly his point. You achieve nothing by yourself. Without the village, nothing get attained. What he forgets is that those people in society who are productive, who work, who build businesses, who create stuff, make the village possible. There is no village without them. So yeah, nobody builds a business without employees. But you know what? The employees get paid, so you owe them nothing beyond that. You have suppliers, you have all these other things. Yeah, that's what contracts are for. That's what trade is for. And government, those roads and bridges that you use. Yeah, and you know what? Not only do I pay through my taxes for that, but then I pay for all the entitlements and waste and abuse and all the other junk that limits my productivity so that I can't, you know, make as much as I would otherwise.
And he was plagiarizing Elizabeth Warren and her famous thing that she said a few months ago that went on fire around the internet. Oh my God, the greatest thing ever said was the idea that we paid for that. If you're a business owner, we paid for those roads, we paid for those police. I'm going, wait a minute, I think the business owners pay a huge amount of tax in this country. In fact, the vast majority of taxes are paid by those who gather the most wealth. And so the idea that this us-them division from the man who says he is trying to bring us all together, you know, people say it was a gaffe. I don't think it was any gaffe. I think it was I don't think he was on prompter there and we pierced the veil, didn't we, of his viewpoint, which is like a concept, some sort of Catholic sense of original sin. It's like original debt to government. You are born in the hands of government and are allowed, per his words, allowed to succeed. Yeah. And if you did, it's luck because there are a lot of other smart people. I'm struck by these people thinking like it must be because I'm so smart. I mean, I just wanted to punch the TV.
Yeah, anybody can be Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Anybody can be Thomas Edison. Anybody can be Henry Ford. No, actually that's not true. These were unique people, uniquely talented, brilliant people, driven, extraordinary human beings, and they brought us all great things in our lives, and we should be grateful to them. And yet, you know, he would have you believe that these are a bunch of shiftless profiteers who just happen to be lucky to be where they are. That is nonsense.
That's the thing that is disturbing to me, is that he makes the. He's basically saying that luck is purely good fortune. It's just, you know, the chips fell in your direction, and you owe the people whose chips didn't fall in their direction the value of what you've gotten from that. And thus, unfortunately, look, on this little show, we're going to kill this thing. But there are a lot of people out there who he speaks to who I believe may go, hey, you know what? I do have something coming towards me. It was lucky that that guy went. I've worked my heart.
Well, you heard the cheering. I mean, people respond to this message. And it's really demeaning to anybody who's worked hard and really put an effort and created something in his life, because basically he's saying it's not yours. And it's true, all those geniuses, it's theirs, and they're exceptional people. But it's also true of the non-geniuses, of the people who just go into business, work hard, and you know what? They do work hard. And there are lots of people out there in the culture who don't work hard. And the people who do work hard and never make it. You know, but that's the way the system is. It's not the fault of the people who do make it, and it doesn't mean that the people who do make it were lucky or that they owe anything to anybody. And what this is trying to do is create a mentality of guilt and to create a mentality of I owe. You know how businessmen talk about giving back as if they took something? You didn't take anything. You created stuff. That's great. We all owe you a thank you for building your businesses.
And he says in his explanation of these remarks, because of course he's getting annihilated on it, he says, well, we all rise and fall as one nation, which is a beautiful sounding, just complete collectivism, generality. But you know, this rise and fall as one nation is not what we were based on. No. It was individual achievement, personal responsibility. Oh, I wanted to punch the TV. Blank you, President Obama. But I'm glad you said it, because I think it's gonna sink you. That little thing, it's gonna sink you. For Terry and Yaron, I'm Allen Barton. You've been watching Front Page.